Hello Wolfpack, this is video number 50. In this video I'd like to discuss my diet and the breakfast that I make for myself and how I make it. Before I start though, I've got a bit of a hint and tip. We're going to be using mushrooms in this breakfast. If you use mushrooms, consider putting them in a airtight bag. They last a lot longer when you leave them in the fridge, so that might help you. Also, don't buy pre-chopped mushrooms, right? Just buy the whole mushrooms and chop them yourself. I'll just move that out of the way. Now, this breakfast consists of the following: 1 lime, 1 lemon, 1 carrot, 1 zucchini. You guys in the States call them courgettes. Cucumber, tomato, mushrooms, just a standard mushroom. I mean, you can put something fancy in if you want, but just an ordinary mushroom. Garlic, ginger, broccolini, right? I don't know if you can see that label. They're also called broccoli florets. Parsley, capsicum, and onion. Now, I've left the onion on the other side of the kitchen because it has a tendency to make me tear up. So, although there's an apple in this, I have decored this apple. That is for a different part of the breakfast. That is actually not a part of building it. So, in order to build this breakfast that I have on my diet for me, you must understand this is a very, very hard breakfast. If you it's not the ordinary breakfast recommended for most people. Now, how do you go up? You'll notice that I've got 6 containers here. These, I don't know the dimensions. Let me see if I can find them. No, it says a volume of 600 mils on the bottom here. It doesn't give dimensions, but they're not very big. So they're just like a small kid's lunchbox, just enough to fit this breakfast. Now the key to this is how you chop it, and understanding that a lot of vegetables is not the key, right? A lot of vegetables to this breakfast is small. So you would what you see here is 7 days worth of breakfast for me, and I'll show you why. When I'll take this carrot and I'll use it as an example. You need to cut this up into 8. Why 8? Simply because it's just the easiest way. You actually need to cut it up into 7 bits, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to cut it up into 8. So you start off with cutting it in half, equal portions. Actually need a large knife. Now, you cut it in half again, that gives you 4. And if you cut this into half again, that gives you your 8. As a rule, what I have come to find myself when having these for breakfast, when making this breakfast, is that it's usually about 1 thumb width, whatever I'm cutting it into, which is good enough for me, right? But I'm a reasonably large person, but that is what I find easiest for these containers. So now that you've cut this up into 8, you put 1 in each container. Right? And you have 2 bits left over. These are important, right? One of these is for today's breakfast, so you've got 7 days in total, and the other one you can divide up or just chew. As a rule, I usually just put it to the side and have it as a spare. I usually on the first day or 1 day a week have 2 spares, but depends on how you cut it. So once again, in order to cut this properly, with this courgette or zucchini, make sure you leave that on. Don't throw it out, it's just a waste. Same with the bottom. So cut it in half, right? Put it on top so that it's equal, just like that. Then cut that in half. That gives you 4. And then just cut those halves, or cut those bits into half again. That's it. Then you've got roughly about 4 equal points. Don't think that they have to be specific, right? You don't have to be exact. Right? Now, something I will tell you about this is that before I started recording, all of this was washed. It was washed and it was cleaned very thoroughly. Please make sure you get any dirt or leftover items which might be on the vegetables. You know, make sure it's clean. Tell you what though, one thing that you can't tell through the camera is how nice this salad smells. It smells like a really, really super fresh salad. Lemon. This is where you get your citrus from. This and the lime. So when dealing with this, don't cut off the skin. And the reason why you do this, why you don't cut it off, right, and why you don't, or why you leave it on is, firstly, apparently, all the vitamins are a lot in the skin. Secondly, it gives you roughage, which means that it'll help your bowels move. So just be aware of that. So how do you cut up a lemon or anything that's round? Cut it in half. Right. Cut it in half again. Cut it in quarters. Make sure you leave the seeds in. I'm going to point that out later on, but please make sure that you leave the seeds in and put them in to your breakfast later. Why do you do this? It's actually something I stumbled across, and I really, if you've got something like this, right, this is just the tip, you can get rid of that. You don't need that. Make sure that you put in the seeds. I've come to find that I have personally had very, very good results with these seeds. Not just lemons, but limes, apple seeds, a lot of excellent results health-wise. One day I may disclose what it is, but I'm not going to disclose it because it is a personal matter. But rest assured, I promise you, Wolfpack, that that the health, I'm just swapping a carrot because I like to have these on the first day, the end bits. You'll notice that I've put all the end bits on this side for blending today. Limes, once again. It doesn't have to be rocket science, and I'll tell you why. I mentioned this earlier, that it doesn't have to be, but I didn't give a reason why. You got to understand the concept of when having this, you want a small amount of vegetables each day in their strongest uncooked form, and by having it each day, if the body misses out on anything one day, it will pick it up the next or later on in the week, or it'll take what it needs to. So you don't have to worry about having huge amounts of vegetables all at once. Right? These are only just small quarters that I'm putting in, right? This is what I mean by small amounts, but you have them every single day. Mushrooms. Mushrooms I tend to find are a little bit smaller. They don't tend to have that much bulk. So as a rule, I just put in half a mushroom. In each container. I'll go with the tomatoes next. As a rule, half a tomato. Tends to do me very well. Please make sure you keep the seeds in, right? You'll notice that these are just standard sized tomatoes, and half of it will fit into the container, okay? Why am I doing it like this? Just to point out, a lot of people think, well, why don't you just make it on the day? There's a very, very specific reason. I'm lazy, and I really am overworked and overbusy. And a part of the decisions for my lifestyle is that I've got a lot of other pressures. And so by the time I do those pressures, I'm too lazy to do a meal at the end of the day. So if I get up early, one day a week, and I build 7 breakfasts, I can just go to the fridge, pull it out, blend it, and have it ready. That's the key. And that's one of the keys to having a good breakfast. Now, ginger. For the love of God, right? Please only have a very, very, very small amount of ginger, right? I'm talking, even this is too thick, right? This is a little bit too thick for what I should have. It should be much, much thinner. So very, very thin. Why? Because it just burns. That's a little bit better. This is, if you notice this to this, so this is the better one. So you just cut it, slice off roughly about 7 of those. I will do 8, so because now just note that the more you cut through it, the larger the piece gets, so just be aware of that. If it gets too large, do cut it in half. It depends on, I love ginger. I'm a bit of a ginger fanatic. So, but remember the rule, not a lot. So that is like half a ginger, very thinly sliced, right? I might even just stick to half because it becomes quite painful. So please be aware of that. I am not recommending anyone make this. I'm just showing you how I cook breakfast, how I make breakfast for myself. Okay. All right, so just be aware. All right, because it is a very harsh breakfast, and I'll show you how hard it is in when I drink it in a few minutes. I actually didn't finish the tomatoes. When putting into a blender, usually I prefer to cut them up like this. If you'll notice, this is today I've cut it up into for this into a quarter versus a half, simply because today I'm going to eat it. You can lop it up later if you want, but yeah. Now, garlic, nothing special, just 1 clove of garlic in each container. I think I'll put 2 in here. There you go. Broccolini. One in each, right? Not hard, very, very simple. I don't like broccoli, but I seem to be able to make or accept broccolini for one reason or another. You'll start to see how it's filling up the container. You notice it as per what I said earlier, which was the thumb size rule. The container fills up very, very quickly. And once again, the key to eating this, because this is horrible. This is really, 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 really horrible to eat. I'm not kidding. For the first 3 weeks, first 4 weeks, it's really, really hard to drink this stuff. You really have to have a bit of willpower to make it happen. So if you do have leftovers, don't worry about it. You can always throw them in a stir fry. So parsley, 7 sticks. One thing I did notice about my life when I do have this, when I do go on diets, and I have been having this, I actually don't suffer from any colds. I'm not kidding. I tend not to suffer in my nails. My nails tend to that's one. Okay. The texture of my nails tend to change. They tend to improve. Capsicums, right? Nothing special. I've just cut it in half. I personally include seeds, right? Just chop them up. Don't throw them out. Everyone says throw out the seeds. If you miss out on the seeds in one of the packets, it doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. It's nice too, but it's not the end of the world. With capsicum, for me, treat it like the ginger. Only put a small slither. Right? I'm not kidding. Be very, very cautious with that. As a rule, I love capsicum in large chunks, but when it's raw, right, treat it with the respect that it deserves for your stomach, because it will bite you. It will cause your stomach to suffer a fair amount. See, very, very, very thin, right? About half a thumb's width, perhaps, at its thickest point. That, and that. I've lost count of what I've done. Now, here's the last and fun bit for my breakfast. All right, onion. Right, this is one brown onion. Right, all I've done is peeled it and cut off the bottom, cut off the top. Once again, just put it into eighths. And each quarter goes into each container. Like I said, don't be concerned if one packet has one item larger than the other. Just like that onion I did. What you miss out on one day, you'll pick up another. It's not the end of the world. This shouldn't be rocket science. It should be fun and very, very quick. Okay, pretty much that's it. You can add other items, but primarily this is the basis for what I do. If you have a favorite fruit or vegetable, right, you can add to this, but just make sure it's in small quantities. And that's the concept. Small quantities add up to a lot. A full container. I'm sure I'm missing something out of this, but for today's video you get the concept. What's going to happen is you seal these up. That means you've got 6 days supply of breakfast done. It's taken me roughly about half an hour, but the time that you save in the long run is important. Now these are airtight containers. That was another reason that I purchased these. That helps stop the food from rotting and becoming wet. All right. Okay. Now, how to eat your breakfast. Do not eat it, at least I prefer. One of the things on a diet I've come to realize is that I don't like chewing vegetables. And that's one of the reasons why I've often failed a lot on my diets until I found this. This is a blender. The brand that I use is one of these Nutri Ninja things, but I'm not going to, I'm not promoting the product. I'm just saying that this is what I've purchased. It seems to work. The reason why I brought it was that it has the large engine capacity and I wanted that. So yeah. Now all you do, right? You get your large container, right? You just break up your stuff, right? Just smash it up. Right, throw in your stuff whole, right, into your courgettes, right, just throw it all in. As a rule, keep your leafy stuff at the bottom because it tends to get clogged. Half a mushroom, Right. Lime with the skin, same goes with the lemon, right? Skin, everything in. Garlic, right? Seeds. So now you'll notice that I told you earlier that there was an apple here, and I will be using that after I eat. But what it is with the apple seeds, you'll see that just pop them in, right? Blend them up. Clean up if you see any additional seeds. Don't be afraid to put them in. Lemon seed. Right? Now, what you do is you, as a rule, and I haven't got it for today's video simply because it was just too expensive to purchase, was that you have a lot of watermelon to put in the bottom here. And what that allows you to do is it gives the drink the necessary fluid or liquid that it needs in order to blend. So be aware of it. I don't have it here today. Unfortunately, I have to use water because I've got nothing else, because it won't blend. I'll show you what happens. But it'll just end up pulpy, and it's horrible when it's pulpy. But as a rule, try to avoid water. I tend to find that it's had a bad effect. So just screw it on the bottom. Now this is not going to work simply because I haven't put any liquid in, but I want to show you what's happening. This is what happens if you don't put liquid into it. It just turns into something that will not blend, it'll just keep spinning. So yeah, make sure that you got as little water as possible. Alright, as little water as possible. So I've put in what, maybe about 2 finger widths of water. You know, just enough to blend it, and we'll see if that works. Okay, this is it. This is what that blends down to. There's just enough water. Still missing some leaves, but I will fish them out and just eat them. See up here? So this is what it turns into. It's this green pulp, and it's horrible. I'm not kidding, Wolfpack. It's dreadful. But you notice it's only about 3 finger widths high. It's, if I turn it on an angle, it's not going to be too good, but 3 finger widths high, and it should only be about cup, maybe less, of vegetables. Now, just going to drink that, and I'm telling you, it's going to be horrible. I know it's going to be horrible because I've had it many times before. If you get pulpy bits, you will get pulpy bits like this come through. Maybe you need to blend it a bit more, but surprisingly enough, today it's not too harsh. But there's some days where it's absolutely horrible. It really is. But I'm just going to blend that a bit more. It's still a little bit too pulpy for what I want it for. Wolfpack. I'll try and describe the taste to you. The lemon and lime has come through straight away. It has really, really come through strong. Combine that with the ginger and the capsicum. That's really, really strong. Really strong. So just be aware of that. But this is where you're supposed to have the watermelon. The watermelon takes away from it. Usually, as a rule, the watermelon improves that. Now, this is where the apple comes in. This kind of changes the flavour in your mouth, and it makes it palatable. So drink that drink as soon as possible, and then have a bit of fruit ready, whether it be a banana or an apple or anything else. So make sure you have this fruit, because my stomach right now is very I'd say the word sick. But for what it's worth, while it does look terrible, what happens is that in about a month you won't notice it. And the reason why I'm doing this is that in about 20 minutes I will feel absolutely fantastic. Right? I know that, I've done it before, I'm expecting this, so just be aware of it. The results will be there. I think that's about it. I will clean this up after the video, but I don't want this video to run too long. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I'll do my best to answer them. And I'm just chewing here, hang on. One shall not speak with his mouth full. So, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below and I'll do my best to answer them when I can. Be proud of who you are, be proud of where you come from, and respect, honor and pride. See you, Wolfpack. Bye. Hello Wolfpack, just a quick additional note. I finished cleaning up and I wanted to tell you some things that I missed out in the video. It's been about 10 minutes since I have drunk the mixture, the vegetable mixture, and I feel fabulous. I feel really good. But it took me a good 10 minutes to get over it, and I'm starting to feel those really beneficial effects. So I want to let you know. But in the last 10 minutes, I've felt nauseous. My whole body has been, from my stomach down, has been quivering. And just be aware of it. But you do overcome it in about 10 minutes. At least I do. So yeah, that's really good. The items that I missed in the video was that when you have this mixture, have it first thing in the morning, right? Don't smoke, don't drink anything, don't eat anything else, don't do anything. This is all you have, right? What I have. I don't drink any water. I don't drink water for an additional 30 minutes to 1 hour after. So I let all the nutrients from those items get absorbed into my system. So that's the first thing I do. So first items was that I always have it first thing in the morning when I don't eat or drink anything else. I shouldn't eat or drink anything else anyway. And then when I do need to drink, it's usually 30 minutes to an hour later, and it's just water that I drink. I've given up all soft drinks. I don't drink coffee. Now, if you if you are a coffee drinker, don't go cold turkey, right? If you are wanting a bit of advice, you have to wean yourself off coffee. You cannot go off coffee cold turkey because you'll end up with massive headaches. You have to do it over 2 months, and you have to do it in weekly lots, and you have to reduce it down. And if you don't believe me, that's fine, go cold turkey, but when you get a headache, just have a cup of coffee and you'll be fine. And yeah, just that's that. Second thing is, with the tomatoes, make sure that they're right. Don't have any of this if it's not right, if it's green or not quite prepared. Make sure, otherwise what will happen is it won't be good nutrients, and second, it just won't taste, it'll taste worse than what it already tastes, if that's even possible. And the last item is that if you like, you can swap the round tomatoes for Roma tomatoes. That's usually a good item, but usually I find they're more expensive, can't afford them. Yeah, so that's just a follow-up, just to allow you to see that I am okay, and that everything that you do overcome it. It is hard. This is my first day after being on junk food for a fair while, so that's why it's such a bad reaction. Yeah, if you have any questions or comments, once again, leave them below. Thanks, bye. One last additional thing which I did forget is make sure you store your containers, the 6 containers, in your fridge. Don't leave them on the bench top, okay? I know that should be blatantly obvious, but you just want to make sure that point is cleared up. Do not put it in the freezer. Just make sure you keep it refrigerated. Okay, thanks, bye.